What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am bringing you another duel video between myself on the Madolche deck and my opponent on Heroes. We see I'm currently at 636 rating, my opponent is at 818 rating, so not like super high rated, but definitely like upper, mid, high sort of section there. And yeah, we are going to be doing another duel video here because recently I uploaded a Machina duel where I was explaining how I was playing on Machina, and I said that Machina was a deck I was considering taking to this upcoming regional in Houston, and Madolche is another deck I'm heavily considering, so another game where, you know, I want to explain my thoughts, sort of watch it back, and it was a really good game in my opinion. I think this game is great, so you're in tune for a good one. And yeah, I know a lot of fans of Madolche on the channel, as I do have multiple deck profiles and duels with the deck, and it's definitely one of my favorites as well. So yeah, before we hop in, I do want to let you guys know, Discord down below, and if you are liking these dueling book videos as well, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps us in what we do here on the channel, and really supports what we're doing as far as like providing duel content as well. I do have a wedding I'm going to be going to this upcoming weekend, so I'll probably have a few more of these sort of as like pre-prepped videos to upload. But yeah, that's enough talking. On to the game. We're going to go into game one here. I do lose the rock, paper, scissors, something I do like about Madolche, especially depending on the build. It's usually pretty good at going first or second, which I do tend to enjoy. Taking a look at the opening hands, I opened a Small World, Effect Veiler, Herald of Orange Light, Forbidden Droplet, and Artifact Lancia. Important thing to note is Lancia and Effect Veiler are one-ofs in the list, sort of for the Small World, so sort of interesting we drew both of them in this hand. Interesting hand overall here. He opened Shadow Mist, Vion, A Hero Lives, Stratos, and Miracle Fusion, so he opened a lot of normal summons. But A Hero Lives as an extender, already has the Miracle Fusion. It's an interesting one, nothing too crazy, but yeah. So he's going to start off here with A Hero Lives, pay 4,000 life points, and he is going to choose to special summon Shadow Mist, and he goes ahead and activates the effect, and Madolche is really weird because you don't want to have monsters in your graveyard, so Veilering this is probably a good play because this deck just straight up, it has a very tough time versus Dark Law. But I decide not to Veiler here, and initially I was like, oh, I'll just droplet his end board and it'll serve better purpose that way, but you're not able to droplet under Dark Law, so definitely a misplay on my part potentially. I think Veilering the Shadow Mist is probably best there, just try to keep him off Mask Change, but he does already have it in hand, so maybe working out for us. Vion Effect is going to dump the Vion Effect is going to dump Malicious. Malicious is going to banish itself to special another Malicious, and then he's going to link those off into the Cross Crusader. At least I believe that's his name. Yes, Cross Crusader. To which he activates, going for a pretty standard hero play. Going to tribute that off and search for Liquid Soldier, so that's definitely a pretty good card. Vion is going to use his effect, and at this point I've decided that like there's nothing I really want to hand trap here, because now I know he has Mask Change, right? Like I can't just Veiler the Vion at this point because Mask Change will get me. Maybe using Lancia was good, but I also considered saving Lancia for Orange Light. I don't know, I think at this point I decided what I was going to do was just try to beat over the Dark Law first, and then try to droplet the rest of the board later. It was really interesting. Madolche is so weird when you consider like what you have to do to keep your graveyard stable for your plays to actually go off. Talking about his plays here, he summoned the Sunrise with the Vion and the Liquid Soldier. He's going to draw 2 cards, and we see main decked Solemn Judgment. Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I don't know if many hero players are on that, but our opponent definitely is. He's going to set 2 and pass his turn. So stopping right here, maybe potentially trying to go to end phase to bait Nibiru and then use Miracle Fusion after. Because normally, especially with Mask Change here, you would want to make Absolute Zero. So you could like make Ab Zero, have Mask Change, and that's like a Heavy Storm and a Dark Hole or a Raigeki. More specifically with the setup here, and normally you'd want to go for that, so I'm guessing to play around a potential Nibiru, he ends here because he figures Judgment and Mask Change being Dark Law is good enough. I think that's really interesting considering you have 2 Miracle Fusion. I think you just still go for Absolute Zero. He's ending at a weird part in my opinion. I don't know the reason. I'm not a hero player, so I can't give the exact reason here, but lucky for him, Dark Law is just fantastic versus my deck. So we're going to draw a Promenade. Pretty good card overall. It's definitely a card you want to see. I'm going to activate the Small World, to which he changed the Mask Change, which is definitely good because Dark Claw is going to rip a card out of our hand. I go ahead and I'm going to reveal Valor, link to Pankratops in our deck. They match up by only having 0 defense. And Pankratops is going to add Magdalene, only matching by being Earth, so that does work. Dark Claw is going to activate, and it's going to rip Herald of Orange Light. So my plan here, knowing that heroes don't really have any interrupts, especially because he didn't end on DPE, my plan is to summon this Magdalene, which I do, search for Petting Cessor, special summon it, don't use its effect, overlay into a Madolche Xyz, and then make 4 Material Zeus with the chocolate. And that was going to be a really good play. We would have outed the Dark Claw and, you know, had 2 wipes. But that main deck Solemn Judgment definitely coming in. I just don't have any way around the main deck Judgment here. Not something I was expected, but it definitely won him this game, because at this point I can't even use Promenade because Magdalene's going to be banished. So we are going to go into a game 2 in which I'm going first. I don't know if activating hand traps was the right play. I mean, I think we would have lost either way, but yeah, going on into game 2, I'm going first. I definitely sided for go first. We're going to open Promenade, Solemn Judgment, Petting Cessor, Magdalene, Hoot Cake. This hand's insane for go first, I think. You know, you have Magdalene, which is going to let you play through an interrupt if they interrupt it, because you have the Petting Cessor. The only thing that would have made this better, honestly, if this Hoot Cake was Salon. That'd be insane. But we have a way to play past a single interruption here, and Judgment Promenade is pretty good. Our opponent opens Ghost Ogre, Poly, Vion, Feather Duster, and Droplet. So 2 very powerful Go Second cards against the Madolche deck, because more specifically powerful because they are together. Ghost Ogre, pretty low impact hand trap. I'm surprised to see him sort of siding this in for Go Second, I'm assuming. Really interesting in my mind here. I'm going to normal summon the Magdalene and use its effect. He does Ghost Ogre. That is definitely not the correct way to use Ghost Ogre against Madolche. You know, no flack to him. I mean, Madolche is not a matchup you play a lot, so him not knowing where to hit, you know, fair enough. But Ghost Ogre can end Madolche's combo if they have no out. So I'm going to tell you exactly where to Ghost Ogre the Madolche player, because it'll just beat them. So Magdalene's going to activate and shuffle back. We're going to special the Petting Cessor. Petting Cessor effect. Go get Pudding Cess. At this point, I look at my hand. I have Promenade and Judgment. So I'm going for this play because I feel like Nibiru doesn't lose us the game instantly. I know I don't have an out to an additional hand trap, and maybe going the safe route is okay to play around Nibiru, but in this instance where I have Judgment and Promenade, I felt it was fine to go for like the full Madolche Wombo combo. So going Teacher, gonna send Petting Cessor. Teacher effect, this is where you Ghost Ogre them. If you Ghost Ogre them at Teacher's effect to shuffle back, they are in trouble. That is such a weak point of this deck, is anything on Chocolate is just very painful. So we're gonna shuffle back, and then Chocolate All in Modes effect, detach to special and Jelly. And Jelly effect gonna tribute and special the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake effect gonna go ahead and banish the Teacher in the graveyard to special summon our first Messengelato. Messengelato is gonna add the Chateau. This is just very standard Madolche combo with if you're gonna use the Pudding Cess. This is the extended Madolche combo. One I like to do is like just a very like safe under Nibiru combo, especially if my hand's good, but at this point I was risking the Nibiru. So Chateau's gonna send back Jelly, which allows Chocolate to proc again. Gonna go ahead and special the second Messengelato, which is of course going to search Salon. And then we're gonna activate the Salon, overlay into Teacher, and set the Promenade, set the Judgment. Not going for, I decided to keep Hoot Cake here instead of going for the Sistart. That proves to be very good because I'm going to show you the best thing about Madolche. I think this game 2 is the best game of the set for sure. Of course, it would have been very different had he played his Ghost Ogre correctly, but again, not everyone knows how to play against Madolche. But yeah, going for Sistart here was an option, you know, potentially protecting our spells, but I do think that leaving this Hoot Cake was a very important decision on my part, so especially against the hero deck. So he's going to draw Liquid Soldier. He's going to go into main phase and initially just straight up activate Feather Duster. Seems good to me. I'm going to Promenade, and normally this is like your best way to stop blowouts. But the thing about the combination of Go Second cards he has, if you have a very good blowout plus Droplet, it's a very easy way to play around Promenade because the card has to be, you know, face up on the field to negate. So we are going to get Dustered here because he is going to Droplet. We're going to chain the to Droplet. Chain the Teacher, targeting our Hoot Cake, which is very, very important. This play is going to come up very, it's going to be very apparent why I did that later, and if you are unaware of why this is so good in Madolche, you will see in a bit. And we are going to get Feather Dustered, unfortunately. Definitely sucks for us that he opened Feather Duster Droplet. I'm going to attempt to activate Glass Souffle, but it's negated. I just sort of forgot in the moment there. He's going to normal summon Vion, activate his effect. We don't have any hand traps here, so Vion definitely looking good. Going to go ahead and dump the Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is going to go ahead and search Malicious, which with Poly in hand, that's definitely very nice. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Vion. Going to go search another Polymerization. I've seen some Hero Less be on 1, but he is on 2. So I guess it's just a different in builds here. Choosing to not discard the Malicious. Going to fuse with the Vion and the Liquid Soldier to make Sunrise. Chainlink 1 Soldier, Chainlink 2 Sunrise. Definitely pretty good for him here. Definitely going for a big hero play. Gonna draw 2, a Fusion Destiny and a Hero Lives. Those draws were actually insane. That was a pretty good Liquid Soldier draw. He's thinking on what to do here, knowing that he definitely has plays to. He's gonna go ahead and activate Fusion Destiny, which now that I'm looking back on it, I definitely missed something in this game, but I'll get back to that in a second. So, gonna go ahead, make the DPE Malicious Effect. Yeah, Malicious Effect, Special Malicious. Gonna go ahead and DPE there, excuse me, and he's going to pop my Teacher with the DPE, activate DPE. Gonna go ahead and deny her now, special summoning it and putting the Malicious back. Gonna go ahead and make Cross Crusader, he's gonna put the Malicious back. Gonna go ahead and make Cross Crusader there. Cross Crusader effect, bring back DPE, and then he's gonna banish the Malicious, special the Malicious. And I think right here is where I missed what he did. He's going to go ahead and activate Miracle Fusion, banishing, a light and a hero to make the Shining, but he did use Fusion Destiny, so you can't special summon anything but Dark Heroes. I missed that. Definitely a mistake on my part and my opponent's part. My opponent, however, is not going to be aware of how this works. So, the Teacher earlier targeted the Hoot Cake, as I mentioned, which makes it unaffected by all monster effects except his own. And Angeli, as we can read here, it special summoned this Hoot Cake, and Angeli says, special summon that monster, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase of your next turn. So, this Hoot Cake can't be destroyed by battle and is unaffected by all monster effects, essentially making it like a Crooked Cook. This thing is unkillable, or it can't be removed by anything but a spell or trap card. So, my opponent may have, an extremely massive board here. On that attack of Crusader, he's going to activate the Sunrise, popping the chocolate, which is fine. And he's not going to be able to do anything with this massive board. Hoot Cake is just invincible here. And that is one of the best plays about Madolche. It like almost guarantees you see your next turn, and it makes your follow-up actually worth something because you're going to survive. And it's something really worth going for. So it's going to pass back to us. We draw Orange Light, which is an amazing draw here because it allows us to potentially play past this DPE or a hand trap depending on what our opponent does. I attempt to go main phase. Our opponent's going to, say he's got something in standby phase. And he's going to activate the DPE because he wants to get rid of this Hoot Cake, which, fair enough. He knows the Hoot Cake is pretty much my full board. But again, you don't really need to hit Madolche right there. Hitting Madolche on their Xyzes is much more impactful. And again, not knowing the Madolche matchup definitely hurt our opponent here. But again, you're not going to always know the Madolche matchup, or you shouldn't expect your opponent to always know the Madolche matchup. It's not going to happen often. We do have the second Hoot Cake, so are able to just go for Hoot Cake combo anyways. And this play this one took me a second to see. Like, I had to run through hoops in my head to get to the board I wanted here. And sort of clear his board. But Madolche can do some really insane things. So, Petting Cessor, bringing out Angeli Tribute from Madolche, just so that we get 2 level 4s. Going to Tiramisu effect, putting back my Messengelato and my Chateau, which is going to shuffle 2 cards back on his field to his deck, which is going to be the DPE and the Shining, which technically shouldn't be there. And then we are going to overlay for Chocolate, which might seem weird, but we do have Promenade in our graveyard, which allows us to attach this Pudding Cess. And I accidentally misclicked there. It's supposed to go into the EMZ, which now allows us to use Chocolate's effect, putting back Messengelato, which gets both of our Messengelatos back to the deck. Activating Chocolate, especially Messengelato, which allows us to essentially go into Madolche combo again, which is really insane when you're going second, because it means instead of like Teachers, you can go for Tiramisu. So activating Chateau, shuffling all the Madolches back. Chocolates effect, detach Petting Cessor, go for another Messing Gelato. Messing Gelato effect, go for Salon, just doing exactly what we did turn 1, except now we are clearing a board. Go for another Tiramisu, detach, targeting Messing Gelato and Salon. Shuffling those back into the deck to shuffle his Denier and his Sunrise back. And then activating Salon to set the Promenade, which is just so good for us, because it means we are ending our board here with not only a lot of damage, having outed his entire board, but we have an orange light for, able to negate an opponent's monster effect, and we have a Promenade. Now, something to mention here while I'm at the end phase, I do think potentially not going for a Tiramisu here and going for Teacher is a better play. And so what I mean by that is he had Denier, Sunrise, and Cross Crusader. We could have used our monster to beat over his entire field. Our monsters, not our monster. To beat over his entire field. And then we'd have Teacher, which with this Orange Light is very good because we could negate a monster effect, Teacher effect, bring back Orange Light and Angeli because of Chateau. And essentially we have 2 monster effects plus the Promenade, which is just better than what we have here. But this technically allowed us to get more damage and put him on a clock, but I think going for Teacher was actually the better play there in hindsight. Our opponent's going to activate Hero Lives. I have the monster negate. I'm feeling pretty confident that we don't have to negate this with Promenade. He's going to go Stratos effect. I'm going to go ahead and Orange Light here. Again, if we had Teacher at this point, we would be adding Angeli or Petting Cessor plus the Orange Light back to our hand. He's going to activate Rhoda. I say that's fine. He's going to get Vion. Normal summon the Vion, to which I Promenade, and that is going to signal the end of game 2. So that game was pretty insane. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. I essentially had a Madolche combo twice, and our opponent opened absolutely the stones. So yeah, that was it could have been a tough one, but again, he didn't use his hand trap correctly per se. And more noted for me, maybe I definitely should have gone for a play that played around a hand trap. We didn't need to maybe go for the full wombo combo there. Going for more of a Teacher, search, a spell, or trap play might have been safer and played around the Ghost Ogre, but again, our opponent did not play it 100% correct. So we're going to open up our game, or our hands game 3, and I definitely skipped a little bit there. We opened Madolche Knights, which I sided in 8 go second cards and sided out 8 go first cards. This is one of the only go first cards that I kept in. But again, we just didn't have enough to side in against him, so we do have this Knights, which is hilarious because this, we sided in so many go second cards, but that's how it is. Hoot Cake, Lancia, Ticket, Salon. So opening, 2 1-ofs there, and, it's an interesting hand. 1 Lancia probably isn't enough to stop him. He's going to open, his hand, a Hero Lives, Malicious, Super Poly, a Hero Lives, and Twin Twister. Siding in Twin Twister going first. Against Madolche, I guess that's fair enough. Definitely an interesting hand on his part. He's going to summon the Stratos, and obviously we don't have many interrupts for him here. He's going to go Stratos, add Vion, normal summon the Vion. Vion effect, dump, presumably Malicious or Shadow Mist. Or definitely not Malicious because he opened that, so definitely the Shadow Mist. And we have not seen Ferris from him at all. I'm not even sure he's running Ferris at this point in his deck. I don't know if that is a trend or, this guy's pretty high rated, so maybe testing without Ferris, I'm unsure, but I did not see Ferris from him the entire game, interestingly enough. So we did Lancia, so he's not able to search Polymerization, which is fantastic for us. He's going to set the Super Poly and the Twin Twister, and looking at what he has, yeah, I guess Lancia did kind of stop his turn here. Thinking if he could do anything else. I mean, technically, he could Twin Twister his own Super Poly, or really you'd set a Hero Lives and Twin Twister your own Hero Lives, ditch Malicious, and then maybe you get to some sort of play. That is terrible. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but that is like his only other option here, so I guess passing there is fair enough. We draw Messing Gelato, so definitely a weird hand for us. I'm going to activate Ticket. I'm going to activate Salon in case he has Ghost Ogre or something to pop my Hoot Cake. I'm going to get a lot of value out of it, so I go Salon extra normal, and this does not activate. Very important to know, the extra normal does not activate off Salon, so he technically Twin Twistered before I even declared this, but yeah, he technically Twin Twistered on the activation of Salon, or at resolution of Salon, so fair enough. Otherwise, you could consider this like an extra normal, and then he Twin Twistered after. Just depends how you want to look at it. He does only have Super Poly here as an interrupt, which is not very good versus our deck, so I'm going to go ahead and banish that Lancia we used, special the Petting Cessor effect, and because he Twin Twisted these, it does turn on Tiramisu, which would be I'd be very worried about that if I was my opponent. So, gonna special the Messing Gelato. Again, we are going for the safer play. This is a much safer play than, of course, going for putting Cess off this and playing into one hand trap, essentially. So that was the goal, is going for this more safe play instead of the putting Cess stuff. Mess and Gelato going to go search Salon. Activate the Salon. Go into Tiramisu. Again, Madolche could absolutely have insanely popped off here with the putting Cess play, but I wanted to just play it a little bit safer. And going to go ahead and shuffle back the Stratos and the back row by shuffling my ticket and Mess and Gelato. Yeah, turning on Tiramisu is great for us. Salon set Promenade, which, you know, is pretty good. We have Knights, we have Promenade, and we're going to go straight into battle phase here. So I want to talk about something. We didn't use our extra normal, so we definitely can gain the extra normal now off Salon, but I'm on Dueling Book, and I was really worried about him just calling a judge or something about, like, he didn't know that's how it worked, and I wanted to avoid that. So obviously if we summon Mess and Gelato here, we just swing for game. That's what I would do in a real game where, you know, I can explain to my opponent better it doesn't activate, but I didn't want the hassle, so we just don't summon the Mess and Gelato here and go for game. You know, fair Dueling Book fashion there. Yeah, we definitely had, you know, game. But we have Knights and we have Promenade, which is pretty good. Our opponent is going to Hero Lives here, and we're going to Promenade it, which, fair enough, I didn't want him getting something for free. So adding back Angeli using Promenade. Salon procs, again, set another Promenade. He's going to activate the Malicious, and we're going to Knights it, which I think was actually a misplay. I think there's never a reason to actually hit this Malicious with a Knights, but I guess I was getting greedy and thought this was just 100% game if I did. Because look at his hand, he has Liquid Soldier and Poly. And for some reason here, our opponent scoops, so it turned out Knights was the end of the game, but I don't think it should have been because he hasn't normal summoned yet. Liquid Soldier can summon out a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard, and that... My only assumption here is that, I just don't know, maybe he thought he didn't have enough gas, or I don't understand why he scooped there. Maybe he thought this Promenade could be activated? Because in my eyes, you Liquid Soldier, special summon the Vion, Vion effect, dump the other Shadow Mist, get a search, Polymerization, with your search potentially, which could be Denier, like you can search Denier, right? Off a Shadow Mist, and then you can go for some crazy plays. I don't know, in my eyes, the only thing I can think of is he sided out a Shadow Mist, so that way he, like, brings back Vion and he can't dump the Shadow Mist, and then it's, like, not very good. That's my only reasoning for this situation. If you have a better one, let me know down in the comments. Our opponent, you know, he's decently high rated, so I would expect that his hero plays would be on point. Again, I'm not a hero player, so I don't know, but if you guys notice any misplays, you know, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I tried to list off all my misplays. Hopefully that was helpful, but yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the Madolche gameplay, and of course this duel in general. Should have some more duels in the future, but yeah, like, subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye, YouTube.